It's time! That was so bad. I don't know why I did that. But welcome back to my YouTube channel. UFC 292. Probably the event of the summer. Maybe the event of the year. But I mean, I'm excited, man. This is a good card. I mean, you got my boy, the Sugar Show. Sugar Sean. That's my boy. You have some really cool people fighting like Ian Gary. Big Ian Gary guy. Cheeto's on there, so that could be pretty interesting, especially if Sean wins. And I mean, they really tried to make this event a really, really big one, but a lot of fights just kind of pulled out. I mean, I know Jeff Neal was supposed to fight Ian Gary, and he pulled out. Rob Font was supposed to fight Song Yadong, and Song Yadong pulled out, and Rob Font's not even on the card. Cody Garbrandt was supposed to fight, and he's not fighting anymore. So, I mean, a lot of pullouts, but I still think the card looks pretty good. After each prediction for each fight, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you the odds for that method and round of winning, and we're going to add it to a slip and see how much $10 can win us. But that being said, let's get into the first fight of the night. Alright, first up, Chito Vera versus Pedro Munoz. This isn't going to be close. I got Chito in this one. I mean, Chito's looked pretty good up until his last fight with Corey Sandhagen, and Pedro Munoz has just kind of been alive and fighting in the UFC. I mean, he hasn't really done anything. I mean, he lost in his last couple fights. He's won 2 out of his last 5. He's lost 2 out of his last 5, and he also has a no decision against the Sugar Show. But I mean, his last fight was a win against Chris Gutierrez, and I mean, he beat a prospect. I mean, that could literally mean anything. So, I mean, I don't even know if you can call Chris Gutierrez. I don't know if you can call Chris Gutierrez a prospect just because he's a little older than what a prospect should be, but that's neither here or there. Chito got this, literally no doubt in my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a first round knockout here. Alright, Chito Vera at plus 1,000 to win by knockout in the first round on a $10 bet. Plus 1,000, that's $100 right there. Let's go on to the next fight. Alright, we got the Mom Blackshear versus Mario Bautista. Now this is a little bit of an interesting fight. I see this kind of going either way. You got the Mom Blackshear coming off of a pretty good win against... Who the fuck is that? Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson. The big reason why that win is so huge is because he was able to pull off a very rare twister submission, which is really cool if you've never seen one. I'll put a quick clip of a twister on screen right now.
That's tough. Minute 15 to work with and round.
But he's going up against Mario Bautista, coming off of a 4-fight win streak. I mean, he looks to be like a submission artist. Out of his last 4 victories, 3 of them have been submissions. So, all in the first round, by the way. Jesus Christ. Big fight for both of them. Could go either way. But I'm going to go with the Mom Blackshear, just because he had a pretty sick twister. No other reason. I've never seen any of these guys fight. I just saw the clip of the guy doing a twister, so I'm a casual. Sorry. I'm going to go second round knockout. Funny enough, on FanDuel, which is what I'm doing this on, they don't have like a lot of slips I could put in. It's just whoever's gonna win. So I guess we're gonna take the Mom Blackshear plus 180. Adding that to our slip makes it a 2-leg parlay, and we're now at $298 on a $10 bet. But let's get into the next fight. Now we start getting into the good fights. We got the undefeated Ian Gary going up against Neil Magny. And this is a pretty big fight for Ian Gary. He's on a pretty good undefeated streak. He's 12-0 as of right now. And he's going up against a pretty old Neil Magny. But I mean, this should be a good test for Ian Gary. If he wins this fight, I would have to assume he gets ranked afterwards. Nothing past maybe like 13 or 12. But Neil Magny is coming off of a split decision win against... Oh god, we got another NPC. Who the fuck? Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe. He got a split decision win against Phil Rowe. Can you tell how excited I am? And then we got Ian Gary, obviously going on a pretty big win streak here. He's 12-0. His last win coming up against Daniel Rodriguez, who's a pretty good gateway fighter in the bantamweight division. Or what is this, welterweight? Am I a casual? Oh, it's welterweight. Now, I'm forgetting who Ian Gary was supposed to fight before, because Neil Magny did take this on a little bit of short notice. I think he took this on 10 days notice. So, I forgot who he's supposed to fight. I'll put it up right now. Sorry, I'm a casual. It's Ian Gary. I mean, I can't not choose Ian Gary. Ian Gary is the man. But if you go into the FanDuel, or what the fuck is this? Oh, it is FanDuel. If you go into FanDuel, look at all these slips. I don't really like any of the knockout options. Well, for Ian Gary at least. I mean, all of the Neil Magny knockout decisions are up to plus 5,000. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ian Gary by points for plus 230. Which would make our slip a 3-leg parlay and would bring our $10 slip up to $1,006. But let's get into our co-main event. We got Wei Li Zhang versus Amanda Lemos. I'll be honest, I actually like Amanda Lemos. I think she's pretty cool. She's coming off of a 2-fight win streak. Those wins coming up against Michelle Waterson Gomez and Michelle Rodriguez? Let me check that. And that might not be her name. Is it Michelle? That's Marina. God damn it, I'm a casual. My bad, guys. That's like the 3rd time this video. But this is for the Women's Strawweight Championship. And this is the championship that Wei Li just got after beating Carla Esparza. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what would happen after Wei Li wins, because, I mean, Amanda Lemos is not winning. It would be interesting to see a trilogy fight between her and Rose Namajunas, just because she lost to Rose twice. I would find it pretty interesting to watch that fight a 3rd time, just because I think Wei Li has really progressed as a fighter since those fights. And, I mean, the last fight that Rose Namajunas had was horrendous. So I'm sure she wants to get back in the octagon. I'm gonna take Wei Li Zhang. You know what? I'm feeling a little frisky today.
Ooh, feisty little thing.
I'm gonna take a round 3 submission for Wei Li Zhang. Adding that to our slip makes our parlay go up to $29,465. And now it's time for the main event. We got the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley, versus the actor himself, Aljamain Sterling. But in all seriousness, this fight is pretty interesting. For the one sole reason being that I feel like Sean O'Malley is currently in the same spot that Islam Makhachev was in a couple months or a year ago, however long it's been, before he fought Charles Oliveira. Now the big thing for Islam Makhachev was that he didn't really have the resume of fighters to really justify him going up and fighting for the title. That's not being his fault. He had fights set up, a lot of guys just pulled out. And I feel like that kind of is the same case for Sean O'Malley. Besides Peter Yan, the only real competition that he's fought that's pretty competitive in the UFC was Chito Vera, and he lost. Being that it was a pretty fluky injury, but he still lost. I mean, when you just look at his last 5 wins, or his last 5 fights, whatever, you got a win over Thomas Almeida. He dominated. Chris Moutinho. That was a fight that was taken on 2 days notice for Moutinho. Rulivan Pavia. But I mean, he knocked him out in the first round. Pedro Munoz was a no contest because he decided he didn't want to fight Sean O'Malley anymore. Okay, I'm kind of glazing a little bit. He actually was injured and poked in the eye, but he wasn't winning that fight anyway. And then he came off of a split decision against Peter Yan, which a lot of people, me included, don't really think he won. I take that back. I didn't watch the fight. I'm a casual. I just heard a lot of people say that. But then you got Aljamain Sterling. Whatever. He won the title at a DQ. He would have lost that fight. He probably wouldn't have been on this path that he's on right now, but whatever. He beat Henry Cejudo. He beat an injured TJ Dillashaw. He, in my opinion, I actually watched the second fight. He lost the fight against Peter Yan, but whatever. He beat Peter Yan, and then he stole the title from Peter Yan. So his last real victory was in 2020 when he submitted Corey Sandhagen in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Nah, I'm really glazing hard, though. I'm just a big fan of Sean, man. I can't bet against him. All the things that he's saying, I believe him. I mean, it's really going to come down to I think 2 things for him. Obviously, he can't get taken down. That's a very big, obvious thing to say. He can't get taken down. But if he does, obviously, he needs to get back up, whatever. But that's not really the biggest problem that I see. The biggest problem that I see is the very weird style that Aljamain Sterling uses when he is standing up. And what I mean by that is that he does a very good job at cutting off certain parts of the cage, and he likes to swarm and come at different angles and throw a lot of feints and things like that. And I don't really know how Sean O'Malley's going to adjust to that. But I don't know. I believe in him. I think he's been working on the things that he needs to be working on in this camp. Hopefully he pulls off the W, because I cannot stand Aljamain Sterling. Like, quite literally, I could not stand him. So I'm going to take Sean O'Malley. And, just because I dislike Aljamain Sterling, we're taking a Sean O'Malley knockout in round 1, which will bring our $10 parlay, if it all hits, to $383,172.80. But if you made it this far in the video, I would appreciate it if you slap that like button. Wow, that was really cringy. But for you should hit the like button, and you should hit the subscribe button, because we're on the road to 50 subs, and I got a very special announcement at 50 subs. So if you want to figure out what that announcement is, hit the sub button. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you want to see any more content from me, you can click this video right here, where I go on to talk about the beef that Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul are currently having right now, and why I think Logan Paul is being a little bit. But I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all enjoy the card. It's going to be a good one. But until next time, peace.